This is a HeadGum podcast.
Hi, I'm Alise Morales.
And I'm Milly Tamarez.
And this is Go Touch Grass, the podcast where we log in
so you can log off.
Milly and I are two chronically online comedians, and on this pod, we break down the week in internet discourse, viral memes, TikTok trends, and niche influencer drama so you can go do literally anything else with your time.
And if you like what you hear today and want to hear more, we've got a Go Touch Grass Patreon with tons more content weekly, access to our Discord community, and our spin-off series, Search History, where we go back and break down a viral discourse from the past. This week on Patreon, we did a deep dive into the Trump inauguration.
Yeah, we did it.
We read his inauguration speech, which was, parts of it, which the parts that he read, he said, this is Martin Luther King's dream. Trump being there was Martin Luther King's dream, apparently. We talked about all the bad outfits. We talked about the crypto bomb, how Trump and Melania are in a crypto scam.
They're doing a hawk tua.
They're hawk tuaing in levels that we've never hawk tuaed before.
They're hawking tua more than she even did.
Hawk tua to electric boogaloo.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? They're hawk tuaing crazy. So if you want to know more about that, check out our
Patreon. And don't forget to leave us a 5-star rating and review. We love reviews. We need more of them. But really, the best review you can give us is to tell your friends. Tag us in a little story. You know we will repost it. We are always online.
And listen, 2025, again, America's great again. And just like in 2016, Go Touch Grass is pivoting to video.
We are.
So we'll have full episodes of our video and of our podcast uploaded to YouTube. Those will be released every Saturday. The audio versions will be released on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music on Wednesdays. So if you listen to audio, you'll get a little advance. And we're going to be posting, listen, the amount of men YouTuber tutorials that Milly's watching, trying to get to understand the YouTube algorithm.
She's getting into it.
Guys, if you thought the TikTok algorithm was crazy, the YouTube Shorts game is out of control. I don't know what's happening. The things on there, whatever. We're living, we're learning, we're laughing, we're loving. We're posting on YouTube. Please support us there. Please, please, please.
Please, please, please. And today, we have such a great guest. A perfect for YouTube guest. Not that, her audio is going to be amazing as well. You're listening to the audio right now, but she's always giving visuals, guys.
Visuals, audio is an imaginary medium, but visuals.
There's a color story being told. There's a color story being told. She's a comedian, she's a writer, she's a podcaster, and a content creator. And more importantly, one of my first new comedy friends when I moved to New York. Please welcome into your ears, Jessie Jolles.
Hello.
Wow.
What a pleasure. What an intro.
Yes.
You guys, that's great.
Yeah, we've been working hard on the intro. We got a comment that was like, I didn't realize you do the intro every time. And I was like, we do it every time.
And it's so good.
Yes.
We do it every time. We do still read it.
We do still read it.
I could memorize it, but
we kind of memorized it. It's fun because Alise put the one from last week.
I did accidentally. What you guys don't realize is that on the fly we did make some edits because I pulled the one from last week.
But guess what? UCB improv.
That's right.
Exactly.
Improv. We got an improv education.
Yes.
Those who say that's not useful.
Guess what?
Look at us.
Look at us.
Yes, exactly.
Look at us, girls.
Look at us. Look at us on YouTube. Check out the YouTube.
Yes. Get YouTube to bring out their cameras.
Yes.
You were on my first indie team when I came to New York too. We were on a team called Marvin Gardens.
No, you were literally one of my first friends in the city.
Yeah, because you had already started doing stuff with Trevor Lyon and Pat Wise, and I knew them from college improv. Hello, and then I moved to the city, and they were like, "You got to meet Jessie Jolles. We're starting a team." We did that team, and I have such a vivid memory of needing to quit that team and sending the longest email being like, I'm so sorry that I have to quit our indie improv team. I really love our indie improv team. And thinking back to being like, I really thought it was really, I was like, how am I going to tell them that I have to quit?
I had another experience where I quit and then people were really mad at me and defriended me. And were like, I thought we were a family. And I'm like, I have too many improv teams I'm on.
Yeah, it's and I'm paying to be on all of them also.
Right. And that's the thing, the cultural thing that people don't realize is that if you talk to a white comedian long enough, they will have a story, a tragic story about quitting improv teams.
Yeah. I mean, it's the cult that we all joined.
Yeah.
We just didn't know it was a cult.
The cult rejected me, so I pivoted quicker. But speaking of cult and rejection, Jessie, you went mega viral last year.
Milly is known for her segues.
My segues.
I love that.
And you know what? It gets me. It gets me in trouble when I'm again on dating apps and talking to guys because I'll be like, speaking of this, why don't you tell me? What the fuck? Anyway, Jessie, you went mega viral last year. First of all, I have to say, my best friend from childhood. She was my best friend since she was 8. She lives in Port St. Lucie now, Florida. She's like a Black therapist. Not online at all. Sent me one of your videos. She's like, this is so us. And I'm like, little do you fucking know.
Oh my God, that's so great.
But okay, you went mega viral last year for posting a get ready with me when there was randomly in New York history an earthquake. Which we will play for our listeners.
Yes, I will insert the audio. Milly will insert the video now.
Clavicle out. It's the summer of clavicle. Is my whole building shaking? Was that an earthquake? Or just me? Okay, love this outfit.
And we're back.
That video has 8.1 million views on TikTok. And first of all, I have my theories on why that video did so well. But did you know when you filmed it how far it would go?
No, I mean, of course not. First of all, I was supposed to film with someone that day. I was getting back into trying to make content and the person canceled on me. And I was like, man, I'm so bummed. I was going to make videos and I'm not going to. And something that I've always done, but wasn't necessarily going to post is like fashion videos, just getting dressed. I mean, I'm wearing no makeup and I don't have a bra on, a little behind the scenes. So I definitely didn't think it was going to go anywhere. And I'm just like having fun with a belt around my neck, like talking about whatever. And then I gaslight myself all the time. So I was convinced that someone was just like moving a piano. You know, like I think my reaction is so real because I am not sure what's happening. And then I'm pretty sure I was wrong. I'm like back to whatever was happening. Like it couldn't have been an earthquake.
Well, that's how it, because sometimes in New York City, the building just moves.
That's it.
My friend
I'm in an old building.
Yeah, my friend sent like a message to our landlord. It's like, I'm so fucking tired of the construction. And they're like, it was an earthquake. Nobody gets like, it was a crazy thing. But I feel like for me, the reason why it went viral was not because of that, but because you were so into yourself. And you were like, was it an earthquake or was it me? It was me. And I'm just like, that's the fucking confidence. And people, I feel like that gravitated. And the outfit was insane.
Thank you for saying that. The hat. It was so funny because afterwards, I didn't post it on Twitter because I just like don't like that. But somebody did, and then people kept being like, they're comparing you to Scooby-Doo.
I did see that.
For people who remember one of the greatest live action films of all time, but there is the scene where Scooby's going through the airport, and there were similar outfits. There was a similar hat going on between the two.
Scooby-Doo dressed in drag. Is what they compared your outfit.
Which I'll take. But because at first I thought they were just saying like I looked like a dog.
No.
And I was like, okay, that's fine. And that's Twitter, you know, I said that's
and
fine.
That's why I don't engage with
And that's why I didn't post.
But the side by side, you saw
is incredible. I was like, honestly, spot on. Spot on.
Sometimes the trolls get you. Like one time, on Twitter, this white comedian who's a fucking asshole didn't like something I had to say and retweeted me and got his fucking fans to harass me for a whole weekend. And one of them found a picture of me from a wedding that I went to like 3 years before, and it was a picture of me smiling. And they zoomed in on my teeth, on my gap, and they're like, I'm this close to giving up. And I'm like, that's pretty funny. I'm like, damn, I have to block you. Fuck you. Fuck this comedian. I hate everybody, but that was good. That was funny.
I'm like, how embarrassing for them. I'm like, how much time did you spend?
Oh God, I can't imagine like going through.
Right. I'm like, that's embarrassing.
It's humiliating.
Yeah.
Also, I'm like, if you're clearly funny, but that's the thing. It's like these guys hate, women and people that put themselves out there and have confidence.
Yeah.
And then instead of taking that energy and maybe trying to be funny themselves or humiliating themselves on the world stage like we do,
right?
They just shit on us. And you know what?
Okay, well, speaking of us humiliating ourselves on the world stage, Jessie, you went mega viral again.
It's humiliating.
I mean,
Jessie, you went mega viral again for your video, your eccentric friend being robbed, which has 14.6 million views on TikTok.
Sorry? Oh my God.
Give me the most expensive thing you have.
Oh my God, okay. Limited edition. Remy de Balmy. My 36, 34.
What the hell are you supposed to do with that?
It's a purse.
Is that for like a squirrel to sit on?
No, it's a purse.
How?
Seals on the bottom.
It's not good enough.
Okay, all right. Forget the purse. This really took me a long time to get, but this hat.
No, I said valuables.
Yeah.
Value.
Okay. This obviously
looks cheap.
Okay, it's costume jewelry, but
need the expensive shit. Now.
I ding this one a little, but you could it's obviously like it's vintage.
Okay, what's it worth?
Vintage?
I don't have time to take it to a pawn shop.
It's a collar.
To get it priced.
Okay. Jewelry's out. Purses. I don't know if you're a bad...
Is there money in the purses?
No, the money is how I bought the purses. That's where my money is, in my closet, really.
It all looks bad. Who would wear any of that?
Okay, get out of my home. How about that?
You know, I am gonna go.
Okay,
because
fine.
this is like literally the biggest waste of my time ever.
I've never felt so insulted in my life.
Well, you should be. I'm gonna tell all my other friends never to come here.
I appreciate that.
Those are huge
You
numbers.
don't even know.
I went through, I looked. So, okay, both of these videos, as we've talked about, they center your, I would call it like a fun, maximalist, eccentric style.
Yeah.
I feel like you started leaning into this style maybe like a little pre-pandemic or around that time.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess what prompted your choice to be like, I'm gonna start wearing fun shit and be like, what made you want to express yourself in this new and fun way?
Yeah, it's such a great question. I feel like, so during the pandemic, right after it, when I moved back to the city, I got into a fight with my parents, and my mom's an artist.
Mm-hmm.
So her art was all over my apartment, and it was making me sad to see it because we were fighting. So I took all of her art down, and I had all these white walls.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like I didn't even really know who I was, because it was almost a shrine to her, who I love my mother, but I just realized my identity, I didn't know what it was. And I think I started experimenting with my apartment, being like, what is in my heart, or what do I want to feel like home is? And then that became like my secret thing. When someone would come over, it'd be like, this is who I am actually. And when I go out, it's like I put armor on. And then a part of me was like, I don't understand why I'm putting armor on. And I mean, the first few times I was like wanting to step out in fun clothes, I remember being really scared.
Yeah.
Like so scared to be seen, so scared to be, looked at in any sort of way. And then, there just came a point where I was numb to it. I didn't care. And also the people I was meeting, because of what I was wearing, I was like, wow. Because I would see them and be like, I'm like you in like private, in my own room. Like, I like what you like. And I just decided, it's like the people pleasing thing, where I just was like, I don't really care what other people think. And I'm putting way too much thought into what people think when I just want to be happy and I don't care.
Yeah. And I feel like you've carved out such a fun niche for yourself that like the eccentric friend videos kind of get to. Because I remember like you had a video where you have like a purse that's a little couch. And I've been being advertised this purse that is Mrs. Doubtfire's face
only
with
one.
the cake. And I immediately was like, this is a Jessie Jolles
Yes.
purse. This is a Jessie Jolles purse. It's like literally like a little round bag, and it's Mrs. Doubtfire's face when she has the cake on it, and it's dripping. And I think I looked in the comments, and I saw people tagging you in the comments.
I got sent that hundreds of times.
That's so funny though, when you're like a brand, like the thing is too, it's like when you are more honest with yourself, like it opens up a new world, but also like, yeah, it becomes part of your brand where everyone's like, oh, Jessie would like, because I'm sure like, you know, everybody has like, I know what kind of stuff Alise likes, like anything with Harry Potter or something.
There's other stuff too.
Yeah,
you know, I branched out a little bit.
Well, I sent Alise a Pride and Prejudice fan cam.
Yeah.
Oh, and he was scared.
He's scared of this pussy. Sometimes guys are scared of the pussy because they know
totally.
It would fuck them up.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm sure that back to this thing. I'm sure that brought a lot, you know. And again, everyone has that eccentric part of themselves, and I've also like, I feel like I'm definitely like not so much eccentric, but I'm always barely wearing a shirt. I'm always wearing a crop top.
Yeah.
I'm always wearing short shorts.
Yeah.
Elisa's come over. So when somebody comes over, and that's a common thing too in like female friendship, your friends come over, it's like, oh, can I borrow a sweater?
Yes.
Or, oh, can I wear like shorts? Like they come sleep over.
Yeah.
Like, oh shit. Like everything I own is like barely clothes. So that's the one that my friend sent me. She's like always has some crazy outfits and stuff.
I love that. I think everyone's eccentric in their own way.
Yeah.
You know, and they have little bits and pieces of them, even if it's their inner child that's that way.
Yeah.
I think making videos became easier because I kept being like, I can just be myself. Like, I can just be the weird things I do with my friends or when I'm out that I can make. I always thought I'd have to package myself differently, or that's how I had been, that like leaning into just being myself. I'm like, God, this feels so easy.
Yeah. And I mean, Jessie, you've always been like one of the most naturally funny people. So I feel like you're so well suited to just like just being yourself and not having to like come up with some big conceit of one thing or another. It's like, no, this is just me, and I'm gonna bring joy to your phone.
Yeah.
And I love that.
And maybe, you know, being prepackaged or covered up and whatever might make you like mass appeal or whatever, but you're like gonna be one out of many versus you being yourself. Like maybe not everybody gets the vision of the couch purse, but those that get it will fuck with it so hard.
Yes.
So that's like the kind of argument to being yourself.
And if you don't get the vision of the couch purse, open your fucking eyes.
Guys, those who
it's a purse and it's a couch.
Yeah.
Come on.
You're being
there's
so
some people,
serious.
There's people who just don't get it. And it's just like, you know, like I remember I used to be a cashier in a grocery store.
Yeah.
And this woman, her and her husband were shopping, and she was buying all the ingredients for apple pie. She bought the apples, the flour, the this, the that, and the husband, it came out to like $50.
Yeah.
And the husband's like, this shit is $50? Why don't you just fucking buy an apple pie that's $3.99? And she looked at him and she's like, You don't get it.
You don't
get it.
Because I want to bake a pie.
Because it's the, you know what I mean?
It'll taste better.
Yeah.
And like, I get an activity too.
Right.
This
like,
is an activity sport.
Like those who get it.
Yeah.
They won't ever get it.
And you might not be at the place where you're even like ready. There was so much of my life I was getting dressed to hide or to like please somebody else, you know, that, and what you're taught is what you're doing, that like, deciding to change your style, or even deciding, like, I keep being like, my style is whatever I feel that day.
Yeah.
I don't lock myself in any sort of box being like, it's vintage, it's this, it's maximalist. I'm like, maybe. And some days, like, I don't want to be that way.
Yeah.
And that's what's so cool about it. We don't have to like.
And you're in the perfect city for this.
Yes, I do
God
think
forbid
New York.
You live in like Columbus or something.
Yeah.
In Columbus, we love you.
Of course.
And we love our Columbus listeners. And you should wear whatever you want over there.
Yes,
Listen,
exactly.
It's a fucking free country
For now.
Yeah.
Speaking of free country.
Speaking of our free country for now, and also, honestly, all of this talk is, I think, lends itself so well to our discourse today, because we're going to be talking a lot about like influencing and how our influencer girlies have to deal with life. But first, we do have a software update / cursed content.
Yes.
So software update is our segment where we update about something we've talked about in the past. Yeah. And cursed content is our segment where we show a piece of content that is cursed, disturbing, kind of
shows the ills of the world.
And this is both.
And
this is going to be both. So we're going to check in briefly on someone who is shaping up to be like a bit of a main character on our podcast. He comes up a lot. This is a billionaire by the name of Brian Johnson.
Okay.
And his thing is that he is trying to live forever.
He's the one that injects blood, like his kid's blood, his son's blood, his 19-year-old son's blood in his body to like make him look younger.
Yeah. So he lives off of like an algorithm. He has injected himself with his son's blood. Last time we checked in with him, he had replaced all of his plasma with something called albumin.
Okay.
Which, as far as I can tell, is like plasma. It's like uncut plasma, like really good stuff, which is weird because he also said that he has super plasma. The plasma he already had, he said was really good. So I don't know why he had to change it, but anyway.
I feel like he's just getting taken for a ride by his doctors.
Yeah.
Like the doctor's like, you want to try this new shit? And
yeah. You want to switch all your blood out with super blood?
He does look like a vampire.
If I were his therapist, I would just be like, it would be such a great time to like discover what you're so scared of with death.
Yeah, like what, and aging too, because he's always constantly saying that he's like, I look 17. He doesn't. We'll get into that in a second. But I do want to read, actually, I'm going to, Milly, I'll have you read this. This is a tweet from Brian. This is our latest update from @Brian Johnson. Why don't you just read this tweet?
Fuck you. Nighttime erection data from my 19-year-old son @Tamarez Johnson and me.
Had to give him the tag. You got to tag your son. If you're going to post his nighttime erection data, you do have to tag him.
What?
His duration is 2 minutes longer than mine. Raise children to stand tall, be firm, and be upright.
And then it just includes like, I guess he's tracking. I mean, they're tracking everything, but so he's tracking his son's nighttime erection data, and he tweeted it.
So who, like, let's have, and maybe I'll put this in the polling. We've been doing polling. If you're on Spotify, first of all, shout out to all the Spotify commenters, but I also include a poll every week on our episodes. So the poll might be, who do you think needs therapy more? Amy Coney Barrett's adopted Haitian children or Brian Johnson's 19-year-old son who's getting his erections tracked?
He's getting his erections tracked. And reminder that if we can actually pull up the doc just to show this picture, I just want to remind everyone that he's doing all of this just to look exactly his age, which is 47 years old.
Yeah.
And this is a screenshot I took of one of his recent posts that's just the tagline is, why did you get veneers? And it's like, because you're obsessed with looking young and we.
Yeah.
And like, he literally looks exactly his age and he's injecting himself with his son's blood.
If he said 36, I might give it to him, but that could just be Botox. The Jonas brothers are doing Botox. They look great, but.
Yeah, I don't even think, I never think about age when I look at people. Like,
yeah.
I think that like you can tell maybe, when I can tell someone's had Botox or something, I'm normally like, oh, it sort of gives me, I'm just like, there's something that you're not accepting of yourself in some way, or there's something that our society has pushed onto you that you think like whatever is happening is not okay. Like you can't have a wrinkle, you can't. You're not allowed to age. Yeah, you can't have your own plasma. You can't. Your son should be younger than you. Your son should be like living,
Hot take.
Right.
Your son should be younger than
like
you.
It's just breaks my heart. Also, how much money and time this person is spending on. It's such a brilliant, money scheme. Like if people sat in a room to be like, how are we gonna get people's money? Like, well, what's something they can't stop? Like we know is going to happen that we can scare them about so that we can keep getting their money. It's like aging is a layup.
Yeah, well, that's kind of like the ultimate goal, I think, of all of this is for him to eventually sell his weird health system to other people. His like collective is called Don't Die. There's actually
Has he seen Talk Everlasting?
That's the thing.
You should check it out.
We've talked about this when we've talked about him the past couple of times, that it's like, do you really not want to die ever?
Crazy.
Like you just want to walk the earth forever?
Also, what a waste of patriarchy. Like for fucking decades, we've been told that women age terribly, but men only get more dignified when they age. And all this bullshit, which is obviously not true.
Right.
And obviously he's measuring how hard his dick stays because we all know what happened to men after 30.
Right.
But,
and
obviously, if you don't know,
I'm assuming he's not married.
There's
divorce drama.
There's divorce
drama.
It's like his ex had cancer and he completely threw her out. He was like disgusted by her because he got sick. This guy's deeply disturbed.
Yeah.
But I'm also like, your 19-year-old is gonna get harder and quicker.
Yeah, like I don't know.
I know.
I don't know. But anyway, there is currently a Netflix documentary about him. So let us know if you want to watch it. Wants to watch it for Patreon.
Maybe we'll watch it for Patreon.
Wow.
But that's our check-in with Brian.
Yeah, please take this picture.
Please, we can take the photo of him away. It is just funny that, but I guess the last thing I'll say is that he does constantly compare himself to a vampire and Edward Cullen. And I'm like, one of the things about vampires is that like it's a curse that they live forever. Like it hurts them, it makes them sad. Edward Cullen had to go to high school forever and he didn't like it.
Also, like, I don't know. I'm like, life is kind of better when you get older, I think. I'm like, you know what you want, whatever. And like, why do you want to relive like this washed era?
Aging is a privilege.
Aging
is a privilege that we do not, we don't see it that way. And I think it's crazy. And like when I see someone who is seemingly older, it's like how exciting. They have wisdom. They've lived longer.
Yeah, and it does. I mean, sometimes I do get worried when I see how these youths talk about just being over 30 online, and they'll be like, "What are you doing online at 30?" I'm like, "No, you still can like be part of the world when you are in your 30s and like have opinions on things and enjoy things."
If anything, maybe your opinion might be more like nuanced and informed because you have whatever. Brian Johnson's a fucking weirdo. He's probably cool in his like little Silicon Valley.
Oh, I'm sure he is. I'm sure he is. But all of this is a perfect segue into today's discourse because we're talking influencers. We're talking weird health grifts.
Yeah.
Today, we are discussing influencers who started selling green juice detoxes after the LA fires.
Oh, yeah.
Just let that kind of sink in that happened. A source for a lot of this information is an article by E.J. Dixon in The Cut titled "Influencers Are Peddling Detoxes to Wildfire Victims."
Yeah.
So obviously, as soon as I saw that article pop up, I said, this is for Go Touch Grass. This is a Go Touch Grass topic. Just like the quickest background for anyone who doesn't know, beginning of this month, there were several massive wildfires that broke out in the Los Angeles area, specifically Pacific Palisades and the Altadena area. Pasadena was affected. A lot of different areas in LA were affected.
A lot of people lost their homes.
The Palisades, Eaton, and Hughes fires rank in the top 10 largest fires in the Los Angeles area since 2013. And collectively, all the fires burned over 54,000 acres. So it was huge. It's a densely populated area.
There was like 3 or 4 going on at once.
Yes. Obviously, a lot of discourse around the fires. Certain discourses included, are all the victims rich? If the victims are rich, do we care if their house burned down? Personally, I care if people's houses burn down, but whatever. Whose fault are the fires? Hot take.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody's.
Number 2.
I don't think anybody's house should burn
your
down.
son should be younger than
your
you.
son.
Hot take number 2. People losing their homes is sad.
Sad. Then there's whose fault are the fires? Some answers included Democrats, Republicans, climate change, kind of weird combination of all of the above.
I've heard it was DEI.
Yeah, it could have been DEI, could have been diversity.
Inclusion, diversity.
AI for all we know.
The AI, DEI. AI was implicated. A lot of different.
AI uses a lot of water.
Oh.
But the topic of today's episode
yeah.
is should influencers influence around natural disasters, as Jessie did in the epic disaster.
She made content around a
She made
natural
content.
disaster, not
I wouldn't have called it an influence.
She wasn't telling anyone to get the Scooby-Doo hat.
Right.
She was wearing it
I was just
herself.
wearing it. Yeah.
Distinction.
There is a distinction.
Yeah. It's also like that earthquake wasn't like, I don't think anyone was harmed.
No,
I'm gonna go out and say I don't think anyone was harmed in that situation. So also different.
I was designing a sticker for Go Touch Grass.
Yeah.
And then the earthquake fell. I got my dog, and me and my dog were like in the middle of my apartment. And then as soon as it finished, I sat down and kept designing. And then I texted Alise. I'm like, was that an earthquake?
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, what do you think of this sticker? She's like, it's good. Back to the earthquake.
There was an earthquake. So yeah, a little bit different in the levels of kind of devastation that was wrought for sure.
Yeah.
But okay, so let's break this down. So the article I referenced in the cut details how pretty much immediately after the fires started, like while they were literally still burning, various influencers started peddling like detox, quote unquote, detox products to their followers. Some examples, wellness influencer Jordan Younger, also known as the Balanced Blonde, posted a list of her top detox supplement recs for all affected by toxic smoke after she had to evacuate her home herself. So that's kind of like an interesting thing of this, is that a lot of these influencers are based in LA. So they were both like, they were affected by this as well.
And the thing is that when there is fires, there is toxic smoke. It does lower the air quality and all that stuff. But
so if you're already in this kind of health and wellness detoxy space, it feels like a natural thing to do, but actually is it? So she recommended a $50 liposomal glutathione. I gotta say, I don't. My apologies.
This isn't a science
This
podcast.
isn't a science podcast. This isn't a supplement podcast. So I don't know. Glutathione supplement and a $999 humidifier. She did tell the cut that she only made the list after her followers asked, and that she everything she made from her affiliate links went to fire relief. So there you go.
Okay.
Another influencer, Jasira Santiago Hines, who bills herself as a holistic, non-toxic RN, posted her favorite supplements alongside her own promotional discounts for things like glutathione, again, raw milk. That's something we've talked about on here. And honey. So now you can inhale smoke and also drink fucked up bacteria-filled
drink
milk.
bacteria, get diarrhea.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know how drinking raw milk is gonna help you, except to make you just kind of sick as well. Influencer Season Johnson used the fires to promote supplements and essential oils from doTERRA, which is an MLM. So we're getting MLM marketing is now involved. Holistic health coach Eva Hooft, who the cut article said that, so I guess she's like a detox gut person, and the cut article said that she posts pictures of her poop, but I couldn't find that.
Okay.
So I just want to note that the article did say that she posts poop pics, but I went to her page and I didn't see any poop. So I can't say one way or another.
Censored.
I don't know. I did click on a couple reels that were like blurred out to be like, is this poop? But none of them were poop.
I see, last week we talked about the guy with the penile implant. And I said I didn't want to see that picture just to see, but I don't need to see poop.
I didn't want to see the poop. I wanted to verify the claim.
I know, but I'm like, in terms of, right, if you're talking about a penile implant that changed your life, I do want to see what it did. If you're talking about how your poop is great, I'm just going to trust you on that.
Yeah.
I don't need to. But
I'll take your word on that.
Maybe Brian Johnson needs to talk to the guy who got the penile implant that makes his dick hard.
Yeah, I mean, there's a natural collaboration there for sure. But yeah, anyway, this poop lady, she offered a 7-day free trial to her liver detox guide and a 45% discount on air filters. Another parasite cleanse advocate, Kim the Worm Queen. I don't know. I don't know.
The Worm Queen.
She used the fires to sell her self-branded $100 support kit. And then there was a woman from Basketball Wives, Drea Michelle.
Oh, Drea's really problematic. Put a pin in that discourse.
She got in trouble for posting an unboxing video of herself unboxing an air purifier with a $200 link off, like $200 off to anyone who used the link in her bio. So people were not into that. obviously the EPA's recommendations for smoke inhalation do not include like essential oils or anything of that nature.
Parasites.
Yeah, they don't say you should eat a parasite or drink raw milk. They say that you should wear an N95 mask, shower after being outdoors, and use a high quality air filter. So some of them were at least promoting the air filter,
Yeah.
which would help.
It's hard because I feel like we live in a society where, first of all, certain disasters get more airtime and people care more than others.
Yeah.
And then like I have trouble being like, are we supposed to stop what we're doing?
It's
tough.
tough.
I do have trouble being like, what is supposed to happen? Because how come there are horrible things happening all the time? There is something horrible happening. That's a guarantee. And we don't stop for a lot of things.
So when do you, I mean, that's kind of one of the central questions of this thing is like, what is appropriate? What isn't? When,
because I didn't post anything about the fire this time. I chose not to because I was like, I want to be a spot people go to escape. I'm escaping here.
Yeah.
Like, that's where when I go on the internet, what I follow is like cooking. Like I am like escaping the world if I can.
Yeah, but I feel like the argument or the discomfort doesn't come from people posting content during these things, which is something.
Oh, it's trying to sell?
Like, it is an argument that people have of like, when this mass shooting, when this happened, everyone should go dark.
Right.
I think the which is a different argument.
Yeah.
The conversation that we're having or what people is like, should you be able to profit off of natural disasters? Should you use affiliate links, which is like, should you post a probiotic that you get a 10% cut of?
Right.
And post the link to an Amazon thing and make money. Like, is that ethical? Is that cool? Like, and it's also like a symptom of a lot of things, which is like late stage capitalism, which is like, we've been told for so long that we have to make everything into making money.
Yes.
So why not? But
well, and it is also tricky because with these influencers in particular, again, a lot of them are genuinely being affected by the thing.
Totally.
Like some of them,
they might need money.
Yeah, like they might need money. Not every influencer is extremely rich. Some of them, I mean, a lot of them did post like GoFundMe links and charity donations. And, you know, some of them said like, okay, any money I make off of this is going to go to the fire. So there's stuff like that. And then also if they are living in this like health and wellness niche, as much as I'm like, I don't know if any of this stuff is actually useful, that's their bag. So and
all these corporations are doing it too. Like, you know, you see Airbnb or you see like my gym being like, we're going to do a class where the money goes to that and it costs you guys more money. And I'm like, is the gym matching it? Like, it just becomes like, it feels like everybody now starts to use it. And are we using it for the right reason?
Yeah. And like, it's just such a blurry line between like, okay, charity and also people making money and also content and visibility. Like it all gets meshed up in this weird world. So the Cut article kind of noted like, this is not new. Influencers have used natural disasters for views in the past. Like,
and so have companies.
Yeah, I mean, well, they pointed out in this article like that during Hurricane Milton, like a number of influencers stayed back to just live stream the storm, which is different because it's not like they're hawking products, but it is kind of wild to put yourself.
Well, that's attention.
And if they're making money on, you know, however TikTok works with the money thing.
Yeah. It's like, well, if they're getting a video that goes mega viral because of their hilarious reaction to Hurricane Milton. But and obviously also like a bunch of fake pseudoscience-y grifter people popped up around COVID. But this is just a direct quote from the article. But because Los Angeles is the epicenter of social media influencer industry, there seems to be an unusually large number of people attempting to profit off the wildfires. So it's almost like because this is a city where a lot of people who are influencers live, the level of fire-related influencing was also just higher.
Yeah, because if there was maybe not wildfires, but when there's a tornado in Ohio or something happens in Oklahoma or something, like we're not getting this amount of products being hawked to us, or also like GoFundMe.
Hawk to they're not hawking to
They're not hawking to us. Yes. That fucking girl who talked about the blowjob will cost us into 2030. Anyway, so yeah, it's like that is the thing. It's like this epicenter of
because you didn't see it in like Asheville, North Carolina. There was the hurricane flooded Asheville, and I mean I definitely saw tons of stuff online, and there were people talking about it, but it wasn't this same kind of vibe of like, here is a product for if you drank nasty water, like something, or for detoxing your home after a flood, or this kind of vibe.
And I feel like I've heard the argument, or like, not like the good thing about the wildfires in LA, but like, because it was like affected a lot of people in our creator class, with movie stars and pop stars and influencers and stuff, like people are now seeing the effects, or like what happens, because this is like climate change, like it's not raining, all that stuff, and it's like people get to see the effects of these natural disasters versus like things that happen in a flood that happens in Syria or Pakistan, like is not getting to us in that same way. So in many ways it's like allowing people to like personify these disasters that maybe they wouldn't have before. But then it also has this flip side where like people are using it to enrich themselves, which is dark.
It's just hard. I have trouble judging just because I'm like, I just feel like the way people are, the way they handle a disaster. Also, like, if you're in the middle of a disaster, you might handle it poorly.
Yeah,
I mean, that's freaking out.
That's also
I had a fire growing up.
Yeah.
And like, I'm like, oh my God, it's so, because when I had it also, no one else had a fire. No one knew what to do. But I think you're in a total shock. You're in shock. And you're scared, especially if you're hearing about insurance companies not covering it. Like, I'm like, if I don't care, we're just, it's hard, I think, to judge people in that situation. I think some people, of course, have maybe malintent, but I think that with corporations too. Trying to come in as a hero, but I'm like, are they really being heroic, or are they getting publicity? I just think
that's what's interesting about it. And like, what is kind of this weird, like, it makes the issue complicated because like you said, these are people who are actually being affected by the situation. So they're like actively in the middle of a disaster, but also because they're influencers and they're part of this crazy social media economy, you are kind of taught to keep posting. So now it's like, okay, you have to keep posting. You have to stay on your posting schedule. Okay. So what are you going to post? Well, I'm a detox influencer, so I guess I'm going to post about detox stuff. And it's just like, it almost feels like that's just what they do about everything. But then when you're seeing it in conjunction with wildfires, and when the stuff is like pseudoscience-y stuff too, like it's one thing. I mean, I don't think that you should be telling anyone to drink raw milk or to eat a parasite for any reason. Like, I think
hot take.
Another one. I don't think you should eat a parasite.
But some people swear by it. And the thing is, I'm like, it works for some people.
I don't know. I feel like
does eating a parasite work for some people?
I know.
I feel like
people
would rather have a little worm eating through their digestive system than be fat. Like,
people are taking shots, right? People are shrinking their muscle in their body. We don't know the side effects. Like, there are so many things we are willing to do to our bodies, like that man.
Switching out his
blood. Because a lot of our society doesn't like we don't like ourselves.
I also feel like this is kind of a reaction to kind of our bigger thing in society, where as a country, we have been chipping away at government protections, chipping away at now I'm getting into communism and socialism.
Get
But
into
it's like,
it.
but like we're in late stage capitalism where
Yeah.
we have chipped away at all these institutions that are supposed to protect us.
Mhm.
We have, you know, people are like, don't trust the CDC, don't trust the World Health Organization, trust me, listen to me.
Mhm.
They don't believe whatever, and
Mhm.
chipping away at funding and chipping away at whatever. That now we're in this thing where it's like, people believe that the free market economy and paying with your dollars and also individualism, it doesn't matter if homeless people have access to masks or stuff, as long as I'm taking the right probiotics to help
Yeah.
me.
Right.
And it doesn't matter if this and that, as long as I send a GoFundMe to this one family that I feel like is worthy. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's not about the collective. It's about me,
Right.
my gut, my shit. It's not like,
Yes.
how about we try to get air purifiers in every fucking
Yes.
library or this? No, that's like where we've shifted away from
Yeah.
into this. So it's not surprising that these people who are, because there were a lot of them, to be fair too, like you were saying, there were a lot of influencers, a lot of people like volunteering in these huge parking lots, getting food, diapers, all this stuff in
Mhm.
cars. Like I saw a lot of that, you know?
Yes. Yes.
I'm not going to say every influencer and everything, but there on the other side, there were a lot of people who hawking things of like, well, I need to make sure my gut stays good. I need
Yes.
to make sure that my house and this and that. So like, it is like, it's easy to judge and be like, well, you shouldn't do that. But it's also like, there's a lot of shit at play.
Yes.
And it's like a lot of stuff in society that has led to the conditions that we are today. And also, you know, it's good to have a conversation about
Yeah.
it and see like, what can we do as a society to like change this thinking of like,
Yeah.
as soon as something like, which that is also like kind of what the algorithm wants. And
Mhm.
on TikTok, Facebook, whatever, is like, and I feel like that's like one of the shit that I hate about Twitter
Yeah.
is like every person that dies, every natural disaster, Father's Day, Mother's Day, it's like an exercise to see how can people make a greater thing about them.
Totally.
And it's like, oh, the background actor in Francis Ha just passed away. I remember I walked into him in a coffee shop and he said, no. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah, and it is. I think that that's a really good point where it's just like once someone is an influencer and that's their career and they have their niche,
Mhm.
you are basically told like your life becomes monetized
Right.
essentially. So if you go through a natural disaster, your experience of that natural disaster is also going to be monetized, just like by making videos of unless you go completely dark,
Yeah.
which obviously people could do, but then people don't want to do that, or it doesn't even come naturally to someone who's used to posting their entire life online to go dark in that time. And then they're used to posting affiliate links. So it's like, I don't know. I
These are
feel like
who
people
don't go on vacation without
Right.
posting 20 videos.
Wow. That brings us exactly to the next part of this discourse, Milly.
Wow.
That leads us to phase 2 of the influencer fire discourse,
Yeah.
which involves the Tarte trip, the latest Tarte brand trip.
Right.
Have you heard of these Tarte
I
trips
have, yeah.
before? Okay.
Yeah.
So for anyone listening, we do have a Patreon episode where we go back and Milly researched a bunch of the past.
Tarte is a
drama.
makeup brand. We're not
Right.
going to get that into it, but Tarte is a makeup brand. And what they do is they get a lot of influencers to go on branded trips. Elaborate trips.
Yeah.
Yeah, and these trips always have something. Like there's
Yeah.
always some kind of controversy.
Yeah.
You know, they went to Dubai. People didn't like that. There's again, listen to our Patreon for all the drama around
There's
an
a lot of
F1
racial-
trip to Miami.
There's a lot of racial division, how they treat the black influencers versus how they treat the white influencers, who gets invited to the trips, who doesn't.
Yeah, so there's just always discourse around these trips, and like
Yeah.
at this point, I think that that's part of it for Tarte is like hoping that it causes a controversy
Sure,
at
so that
this
people
point.
are following it.
Yeah,
right?
exactly, because
Yeah.
then people want to like follow all the drama of the trip.
Were
So
they the
there's
trip
two-
that had the Remy Bader?
Yes.
Okay.
Well,
So there's two kinds of drama, I would say.
Yeah.
There's drama with like the influencers getting into like battles and like
Yeah.
talking and all this stuff happens on the trip. And then there's drama with like people critiquing like racial disparities and stuff like that.
Right.
And I like, digress to call that drama.
Sure.
And just say like there's controversy and then there's drama.
Yeah.
And Tarte wants people to follow the drama.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I feel like all of it at this point, they benefit from just people talking about the trips, even though there's always, there's like interpersonal drama, and then there's always like top line discourse about like, why are they going to Dubai? It's bad to go to Dubai. People are struggling economically. You shouldn't. Is it bad to
drive there?
Like just that. Like there's always like top line and then interpersonal drama that is happening. But this latest Tarte trip took place during the fires, so obviously people took note of that as well. These trips are also always like really lavish. Like they're going to an island, they're going somewhere, et cetera, et cetera. Right. This one was at some kind of like Caribbean island type place. She said, I'll play a video where they say where it is. Maybe it's a Southeast Asian island. I don't remember. They're on an island. The point is, this one was seen as particularly tone deaf because they've got so many LA-based attendees, and it's also just like, I don't know, watching people on a lavish trip. Well, you know, the way the TikTok algorithm works, it's like you'll be seeing fire video, Tarte trip. It's like it, you know, it puts a bad taste in people's mouths. Yeah. This year's theme was #Trippin' with Tarte, celebrating 10 years of the trips, which makes me feel crazy that they've been doing these for 10 years.
No one cared about it for like the first time.
Yeah, it hasn't been what it is in the culture for the whole 10 years, but the fact that they've existed for 10 years is wild. Crazy. Attendees this time around included Brianna LaPaglia, aka Brianna Chicken Fry, Tana Mojo, Brooke Schofield, Remy Bader, who we'll get to, Ken Ulrich, Jenna Craig, May Monsta, a bunch of different people who you may or may not have heard of, but are like big in like the lifestyle beauty influencing space. Yeah. The trip had the typical drama that Milly was talking about. I guess Tana and Brooke were going to start a fake rumor about people or something. There's shit around that.
Brooke, famously, we've covered her because she got canceled for saying the N-word like when she was 13 on Twitter, and then also dated Matt Rife, and Matt Rife made fun of her vagina on a podcast.
Yeah, there's a lot.
I hate this job. I hate podcasting.
Sometimes it's really tough for us to have the wealth of knowledge we have about these various things. But for our purposes today, I know Jessie's just like, I don't even know.
It really is crazy.
It really is.
Yeah, he made fun of her vagina on a podcast.
That is so horrific. We didn't cancel him.
He was canceled for that and other things.
He made jokes. I mean,
how embarrassing for him.
He's made jokes about how funny it is to like hit women. So like, he's like, come on, Jessie.
I don't subscribe. Like
I know. So it's like anyone who's still fucking with Matt Rife at this point, they don't care.
That's crazy.
I think he still does quite well for himself.
He does quite well. He makes more money than maybe we'll ever make in our lives.
That's the thing. Our country is divided. So even if half the country says you're canceled, there is a place.
There's no canceling.
Yeah. I've definitely come around to being like, no one really is truly canceled ever. Like, it's not cancel culture.
You can only cancel yourself. And
well, if you're a person of color, you can get canceled, but everyone else, no.
Well, the people who get like top line called like you're being canceled, right? Like the way people think of it is like, you know, everyone on the internet gets mad at you and then you're canceled. Yeah. Like, I don't think that
people can get like, sorry, yes.
Yeah, I don't think that actually occurs. The real cancellation would be like, a Black person gets fired from their job because they like spoke out about racism and people didn't like it, and like that is actually real. But I think the cancel culture as it's understood doesn't really take place.
As it's understood, like people think that once the internet gets mad at you, you'll never be able to make money or do anything again. And yes, that doesn't exist. But again, the ways that cancel culture, like what people are scared of, doesn't happen to the people that are victims of it. Like, obviously, like Shane Gillis, like he's doing great.
Yeah. Anyone that you can think of, I feel like, who was top line, like quote unquote canceled, is probably has like 1 million YouTube subscribers now and is doing just fine.
Yeah. And you know what? We have 153 at this moment. So let's get to subscribing.
Let's get to subscribing.
Listen, all you can do is vote with your subscriptions and your dollars and stuff.
True.
So if you want us to win, subscribe and follow all of us.
Yeah.
You know, because guess what? We don't have chin implants. I'm never going to make fun of somebody's outie vagina.
Yeah.
And also, I will not use a black scent and do crowd work for an hour.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I don't think any of us are doing that.
Yeah, actually same.
Yeah, I think I can commit to that as well.
We can commit to not getting cheek implants, maybe. I don't know, at least.
Maybe.
At least
No, I
I'm
don't
like,
think
okay.
I'm worried about filler migration, so I probably won't.
Okay. So we're not going to get cheek implants.
Yeah.
We won't make fun of people's vaginas.
Yeah.
And we're not going to do crowd work for an hour.
Okay, but here's some. I guess we'll decide if we would do this. Well, we'll decide how we feel, how we would have acted if and when we're invited on the Tart trip.
Yeah.
Which, it's that invitation will be coming any day.
Maybe at their
of
50-year anniversary.
Yeah.
We'll finally get a
Of
Tart
course.
trip.
Yeah.
So okay, yeah, like I said, there's like typical influencer drama on the trip, etc. But the top line drama, the top line controversy began when influencer Aspen Ovard. Let's just take a moment for the
Never
name
heard- yeah.
Aspen Ovard.
Sounds
She's an
like
influencer.
money.
I know. I'm like, and
Aspen?
it's Aspen with a Y, ASPY.
Ooh.
That's like your parents want people to know we are rich.
But
Yeah, I'm a
also,
teacher.
like,
You're in my class. I'm like, can't wait for your holiday. gift.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Aspen Ovard.
Also,
okay.
I feel like when I was growing up, it was like in the culture for like white people to make fun of black names.
Yeah.
And now it's completely flipped the script.
Yeah.
Like people used to make fun of names of Shaniqua, but now white people have gone crazy with the names.
Yeah.
Caden, Aiden, Aspen, Brooklyn, Kayleigh, all
Yeah.
this shit. I was like, God damn.
Yeah. I also feel like because now there's all those studies and stuff that show that if you have a name that reads as
Is-
black
yeah,
on
black.
a resume, you're less likely to get called in, even if you have like the same credentials. They'll just send it as like Sarah versus like Shaniqua or whatever,
Yeah.
something that reads typical to that time. So I wonder if maybe like I can't speak on it, but black people started moving away from like using some of
I mean,
those names.
all that shit was bullshit because like the most popular name for a while was Aaliyah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Which, you know what I mean? So it's like all that like racialized whatever. But
Yeah,
I'm
but-
just like, it's so funny that we've kind of turned.
No, I think you're right. Because now I'm like, but I wonder if having your name be like Kaylili with like a bunch of different things, if that's going to affect your resume ever, or, we never know.
Well,
Someone do
I
the
don't
study.
Yeah, someone
Do the study.
Mm.
But anyway,
we listen, if we got Tart influencer money, we would do it. But we don't.
That would be great.
we don't. Okay, so this is a video posted by Aspen Ovard. This video has since been deleted. We're gonna watch it. This is the beginning of the
How did you
video.
get it?
It's like 2 seconds long. Found it. Reddit, baby.
Yeah, Reddit, honestly, and Twitter, you can get any video that's been
It's like
deleted.
on the NYC or it was LA influencer snark, obviously. So anyway, we're gonna watch. It's like a 2-second clip.
Okay.
Guys, here's my outfit for night 2. The theme is like Tart on fire. I was supposed to bring a black bag and black shoes.
Okay, super quick clip, obviously. So did you catch why that video might have been deleted?
Sure.
The
The theme.
theme Tart on fire was the theme for one of the nights that this trip was happening. So this video got posted, immediately is taken down, and then Miss Aspen Ovard posted this next video instead, which we'll just watch like the first 2 seconds of, because I do think it's really funny. So this is the newly edited version that she posted after the first one started getting hate comments.
Okay guys, here's my outfit for night 2. I was supposed to bring a black bag and black shoes, and I forgot. So I have on these again. The dinner is on the beach, so they were like, actually wear comfy shoes. Kind of worked out, but this bag has like 2 things in it. I don't need this big bag. It would have been so cute and like more dressy if it was black little bag and black shoes, but we're just gonna let it go. These are both from Revolve. Never ever wear red. This is me branching out, being crazy. Yeah, see the bag. It's like, this would be fine for like the day, but nighttime was meant to be a little dressier. Try again tomorrow.
So did you catch, basically she just edited out the part where she says what the theme was and then reposted the exact same video, which I think is really funny.
I'm also just like, I mean, You can tell that like Tarte fucking sucks because this is supposed to be their influencer, and she's on a sponsored trip, and she's wearing that fucking. Doesn't it bother you when skinny girls with a lot of money can't dress? Like, it's okay that they're not eccentric, but I'm like, what the fuck is this outfit? You're at a work trip, and this is what you're coming out with.
I mean, I want her to bring it. I also like. I feel bad because. I'm like, it really was the theme of the night. Like, it's not like she, you know, and I'm always like, was she checking her phone? Is she someone that like checks the news? Like, I don't know her from obviously a hole in the wall. And it's interesting who we idolize, you know, because she's on the trip because a lot of people like look up to like, it's just interesting who we choose to follow and for what reasons, you know, and I think. And that's the beauty of like our algorithms is like it's such a reflection of who we are and what we want to be ingesting and seeing. And I think like, you know, I would hope that Tarte, but I mean, if I were a brand, it's like I would want to choose like unique, different people who could, you know, but that would be me as a brand.
Well, and that's kind of, I mean, that goes
back
to
a doll on your neck as a chain, so
and that's me, you know.
But yeah, so basically,
so not Tarte at all.
Is that, and that's it's like why is this not Tarte?
It could be
like, why?
I mean, but I feel like it might be Brian Johnson. It might be Brian Johnson's face.
That's his son. He carries around with him.
Hard every night. Erection nighttime.
Yeah.
Not morning. That's the thing. I'm like, don't guys get hard in the morning? I don't know.
It's how much he's getting hard overnight was the data.
Oh, that's so
I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't be be responsible for that. But anyway, the point
is nice. Like I feel bad for her.
I don't think
I
don't think that she I don't think that she was thinking about it when she revealed that the
How old
theme
is
of
she?
the night gotta be 20 between 20
right.
and
She's
24.
not older than 25.
That like when I was that age,
look it up.
You know what I mean?
Aspen Ovard age.
When I was that age, I don't think I would know how to react in any sort of situation. I would think I'm on a work trip. I'm going to do my work job. This is the work theme.
Yeah.
Like, and then people are reacting to it. I just, you know, we knew each other then. We were idiots. Like, I certainly was. And I did not know who I was in the slightest. Like,
well, it is a tough position for these influencers to be in. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
28.
Whoa. Okay.
She's got great plasma. And that.
Yeah, we got to see. She got that super plasma.
Like, she's 23. She
looks
doesn't know
great.
She's 28.
She looks great. And that's why she's on the trip.
Yeah.
And that's why she's on the fucking trip. Aspen, you did it.
Get it, girl.
But yeah, okay. So people are already kind of like, wow, I can't believe all these influencers are on this Tarte trip while there's this natural disaster happening, which, you know, is tough because it's planned before the natural disaster, but also Tarte could be like, hey, we're going to move the trip. Like, you know, like
what would
shaky.
you do though? Like, what are you supposed to do?
I'd probably change the Tarte on Fire hashtag.
Well, for sure.
I would probably do that.
I
didn't though.
I think that, yeah, definitely. I would say like the theme is now
Tarte
like
on water.
Yeah,
Tarte
or
on
like
water.
because everyone brought their red outfits, so it's like the theme is like ruby red Tarte.
Yeah.
Like you just like whatever.
Everyone has to have a red lip.
Yeah, like I definitely would have changed that. It's genuinely funny to me to be like, well, I'm not losing the whole video. I'm just gonna cut out the part where I say the theme of the night and whatever. So that starts a whole other like that. Not to have a pun, but that inflames the discourse.
Sure.
Pun kind of intended. The discourse has become inflamed.
But see, we get so mad. Like, I think we get so mad when things are happening that we like we're mad at
You're
people.
using the we, and let me tell you, Milly wasn't in any of this.
I mean,
People
I
get
wasn't
so mad,
either. Yeah, right. I mean, the collective, when things are going badly or we're scared, we like people get mad at people who are either not, you know, handling it the way that they would. And I wonder if those people are even handling it with the followers that they have or in the family structure, whatever they're doing. I think it's so easy to look at other people and to get mad. I just like, would a business trip change? Like, if there's a crisis PR person there, like, what would be the right thing to do? I don't think in those situations it's cancel everything going on and sit. I don't think.
So I can say what Tarte did do. So during the trip, Tarte updated its Instagram bio. So that's, step one. In IG bio then said, our hearts are with California. And then they shared a post saying that they were donating $10,000 in each influencer's name. So that came up to $260,000.
Great.
To World Central Kitchen. And then they donated 100% of Tarte.com's proceeds from January 8th to 15th. They also made donations to the California Wildlife Response Fund, Altadena Girls. And they said in a statement, many elements of the trip have been adjusted in real time. Many elements of the trip have been adjusted in real-time reaction to the LA wildfires, including the name of the night's activation. So maybe she just didn't realize that the theme had changed. They say that they did change the theme, but I was looking at different influencers from the trip, and there's definitely still a red theme night, because I was looking and I'm like, okay, well, this was definitely the Tart on Fire night.
Yeah.
But maybe they didn't get the info out to everyone, or maybe they changed the name of the night after Miss Aspen posted the video and everyone was like, this is tone deaf, and they were like, oh shit, it kind of is. It's kind of hard. Like, there's so much opaqueness. It's hard to know what happened when. But I do.
There's a full coverage pun in there. With
But it does put these influencers in kind of the bind that you were talking about, because I'm like, they've been contracted to go on this trip. The whole deal of the trip is you're supposed to go and you're supposed to post a bunch.
Right.
And that's what you're supposed to do. I can't remember from our episode if they're like, there's probably some contractual obligations as far as
they have
what.
Yeah, I'm sure they have to post a certain amount to be there.
I'm sure.
Yeah. It wouldn't
post 20 posts over the weekend.
Right.
Yeah, it wouldn't make sense not to have some kind of posting requirement. So then that puts them in this bind of okay, people are mad that we're on the trip during this time. People don't like this trip in general, but now there's also this other added element. What do? Some Brianna LaPaglia, Miss Chicken Fry, just kept regular posting schedule. She debuted her new man after she dated Zach Bryan, that country guy. Put a pin in all that.
Yeah.
Put a pin in that discourse. But she debuted her new man, etc. But then I also wanted to play this video from Remy Bader, who you mentioned. Yeah. She was also on the Tarte trip, and I think that this is
a pin in Remy Bader.
I know, with so many pins. So it's literally, this is a laundry list of so many influencers that we have to mention, and then it's well, that person could be an episode, that person could be an episode, etc.
Yeah.
But I do think that this video is kind of a good example of her kind of speaking to the bind that the influencers that were on this trip were in. So we will now watch that.
I haven't been posting a lot because I want to be sensitive to what's going on in LA right now, but I am currently in Necker Island with Tarte, and they're doing this trip as a give back trip with everything going on in the world. So they're giving $250,000 towards the fires. 10K each is going to be in the name of each person attending the trip that's here right now, which I think is awesome. They also gifted us so many things in our room and with a suitcase so that we could bring all of that back so we could donate it to anyone who needs product and clothing right now. And then lastly, which I think is the best part, is that everyone on the trip gets to pick one person each of their followers. That is a frontline worker, a firefighter, an EMT, a police officer, anyone who lost their home. We're able to pick one person that is gonna have their own Trippin' with Tarte experience, the full experience that usually would be influencers or followers of Tarte that won the giveaways that are attending the trip now. For this next one in March, it's going to be for all frontline workers. I feel very close to home with this. I live in New York City. I don't live in LA, but I have a lot of friends that were personally affected and lost their homes and whatnot. And I just feel having a platform, I need to do the most that I can do. So personally, I want to match the 10K that Tarte's donating, donate that to a foundation or something that can help with the LA fire. I would love if you guys can also give me some feedback of how you feel creators should be involved when things like this go on and how we can help being that we have a platform. I just was a little MIA. So I wanted to share that I am here. I'm excited to be here with a brand that actually is doing something and putting money towards what's going on right now. And I'm happy that we're able to kind of be a part of that with them. But yeah, I just wanted to share that, and I love you guys.
Okay. So to round out this discussion before we go to Grasshole, I wanted
So the Necker Islands are in the British Virgin Islands, so not Southeast Asia.
Okay. I had originally said Caribbean
or Southeast Asia.
It's in British
Don't
Virgin
fucking
Islands.
comment. Don't correct us.
Yeah, like guys, we got to it. By the end, we Googled it. We looked up where it was. But I do. Okay, so let's take a second to kind of answer her question. Is there a way for influencers to like what should the people on the Tarte trip have done? She posted this video and then I looked at her page. It was kind of just like regular Tarte trip content after that. But it does seem like she was feeling conflicted about and was aware, at least in a way that maybe Miss Aspen wasn't, about like the optics of what was going on. So it's like, yeah, what do you do? If we're influencers on the Tarte trip, which we will be for Tarte 50.
Tarte 50.
We will be there. Like, what do you do?
I feel like her response was the best that we're going to get. They're like influencers are not politicians. Influencers are not in charge of any like policy. All they can do is like bring attention and try to do the right thing, which she's trying, and highlighting their stuff. And like, that's it. Like, I wouldn't hawk any products. I wouldn't hawk Tua any products. I wouldn't say buy this parasite or whatever. That's all we can do. I don't know.
Yeah, I think like what she did, which is what people probably resonate with, is she's honest, which is, I think anyone in that situation does not know what to do and does not know how to show up. And there is no roadmap of what to do. And saying you don't know what to do is like, yeah, of course you don't. And we don't either.
Yeah.
We're sitting here being like, I guess, yeah, money's good. Definitely give money. And also, but yeah, we don't know what to do. We really don't. Like, this is a larger issue that like, you know, we have to figure out with the environment, because that's the backlash.
It's gonna keep happening. And
right.
It's a good conversation to have.
Yeah.
Right. And
happening.
Yeah.
And then it depends, like with these influencers, like are they influencers that are political, that say how they feel, or like what they think that, you know, the world should be doing or our country should be doing, or is that a thing that they don't? And then you have to decide as a follower. Yeah. Like, is that someone you want to align with or that you agree with, or if it's not? And the thing is, they're going to go on, like we said, like to continue. But with your algorithm, it's like, what do you want to be seen?
Yeah, like you kind of have to decide for yourself, do I want to follow influencers who are just going to go on the Tarte trip and not say anything? Or do I want to follow influencers who are going to acknowledge the fires? Like you vote with your follow, I guess.
Vote for your follow, vote with your money.
Yeah, exactly. And it is just, I don't know. I just feel like this all just paints such an interesting picture of like the influencer economy. And you've said like, you know, TikTok is this like now 24/7 reality show that people are opting to star in. And sometimes that reality show coincides with world events. And I think that sometimes these people who maybe aren't naturally like politically minded people, that's not the type of content they're doing, are now having to comment on things or again, I personally wouldn't use the fires to sell my parasite.
Right.
I'm only going to sell my parasite during the good times. Okay. I'm only selling my parasite when things are calm. When things have calmed down, I'll show you guys my parasite website.
And I think certainly don't like, if you're in that area and you're being affected, I'm like, do whatever feels good for you. You're in it. Like if I'm not in it, I'm like, maybe I wouldn't, because that just feels. But if you're in it, I'm like, I don't know how I can judge you. You're literally in it.
Yeah. I mean, that is tough where it's like, okay, you actually are in a fire, so I'm not going to say anything to you. If you are not currently in a fire and you're using it to sell a parasite, I think that's pretty bad.
Yeah.
I would say though, like if my house is on fire, I'd probably like kept my belongings, pack my dog. Like I probably wouldn't. Selling a parasite on Instagram wouldn't be my first thing.
But once you've settled into your new place.
Would I sell a parasite?
Then are you hawk-toing your parasite?
I'm like telling people I have a parasite for sale, and then as soon as a bunch of people buy it, take away the value, and then
are you releasing your meme coin?
Yeah.
Say,
well, I'm not the president. So, or his wife. So.
Yeah, so that's our discourse for today. I don't know that we solved it, but I think it's a.
Well, we're gonna keep the conversation going.
We're keeping
for
the
Grasshole.
conversation going in the world of influencers. So, Milly,
Yes.
you want to introduce our final segment, which
Yes.
is Grasshole of the Week?
Yes, today's our Grasshole of the Week is our segment where we pick someone to log off, who needs to log off the most, more than anybody. And we're going to keep on the same thing with influencers. But today's Grasshole is going to be a lesson in history, economics, and a deep dive into the human psyche.
Wow.
Wow, all in one.
All in
one, baby. We get a girl who can do all three.
Yeah.
Before I share who the Grasshole is, some important background knowledge is necessary. So, when Donald Trump returned to the White House, one of his first actions as our nation's leader was to dismantle and disrupt diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts at the federal
Martin
level.
Luther King's dream.
On Martin
Remember?
Luther King Day, following Martin Luther King's dream, the same day he took office, January 20th, Trump signed an executive order titled Ending Radical and Wasteful Government DEI Programs and Preferencing. He then directed that all DEI staff be placed on paid leave and eventually laid off. As a reminder, DEI policies typically were intended as a counterweight to discriminatory practices. Remember, this country enslaved a lot of people and
I've heard
then
about that.
separated a lot of stores and things by
I've
race.
seen pictures of that.
Yeah.
So
heard
they,
tell of
as a
these things.
counterweight, they did DEI programming. Critics of DEI argue that education, government, and business programs which single out participants based on factors such as race, gender, and sexual orientation are unfair, and the same opportunity should be afforded to everyone. Trump's order also rescinded policies that required federal contractors to promote affirmative action and diversity programs. His actions are in line with promises listed in his Agenda 47 platform outlined during his campaign. It also echoes Project 2025's call to eradicate DEI from federal programs and prosecute private entities with DEI programs. Trump said that he had no involvement in the Project 2025, which was this written thing that said like they're gonna get rid of the Department of Education, bunch of shit. But obviously he's doing it, and it's all bullshit. In a separate executive order on January 21st titled Ending Illegal Discrimination and Restoring Merit-Based Opportunity, Trump targeted DEI again and also revoked a slew of executive orders from the past 50 years, which attempted to increase diversity and address discrimination, including several executive orders that were issued to strengthen or expand the Equal Employment Opportunity Act. So Trump is all about ending illegal discrimination and restoring merit-based opportunity. That's why the Secretary for Department of Defense is Peter Hegseth, a Fox News commentator that has never worked in military at all.
Yeah,
but
merit.
he is a violent alcoholic who has allegations of a sexual
Put a pin in
assault.
Pete Hegseth discourse.
Pete Hegseth. But he says he's going to stop drinking if he gets the job. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Put a pin in that.
That's I do just have to say there's no more alcoholic phrase than being like, give me the job and I'll stop drinking.
Yeah, really.
I promise I'll stop drinking when you give me the job.
Sure I will.
Put a wish in one hand and a shit in another, and which one sees which hand fills up first. Trump's order came off the back of various happenings. The Supreme Court ruling against race-based affirmative action in 2023, the conservative backlash against DEI programs on social media, in the courts, and in Congress, and a period of time during which multiple top companies have decided to end their DEI programs and their support of, quote, cultural or social awareness events. This is fucked up on many levels, and here's an excerpt from a statement by the American Civil Liberties Union. Quote, the Trump administration's 3 executive orders targeting diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility initiatives take a shock and awe approach that upends longstanding bipartisan federal policy meant to open doors that have been unfairly closed, undertaking a deliberate effort to obfuscate and weaponize civil rights laws that address discrimination and ensure everyone has a fair chance to compete, whether it's for a job or promotion or education. With these actions, the administration is not only undoing decades of federal anti-discrimination policy spanning Democratic and Republican presidential administrations alike, but also marshaling federal enforcement agencies to bully both private and government entities into abandoning legal efforts to promote equity and remedy systemic discrimination. Trump's executive orders undermine obligations dating back to the Johnson administration that firms doing business with the U.S. government and receiving billions in public dollars are held to the highest standards in remedying and preventing bias. So the ACLU doesn't like it, whatever, right? So if you want to hear more about what Trump is doing and the effects of this legislation, I recommend reading this article titled "Trump's Attack on Federal Workers and the Federal Workforce is an Attack on the Black Middle Class" by Jarvis DeBerry, MSNBC opinion editor. And he basically argues that the federal agencies Trump is trying to gut, but also like putting all these anti-DEI efforts from the military to the U.S. Postal Service. Those are agencies that employ Black people on an size scale to the private sector. The private sector is not hiring Black people as much as the public sector. And he wants to end that. And also through ending that, it's destroying the Black middle class. It's fucked up. So that's our historical context.
Okay.
What do you think of
what do you think of
Trump ending DEI before we get to how it ties into the thing? Trump's ending DEI. What do we feel about that so far?
Yeah, I'm really scared for our country.
Yeah, I mean, it also speaks to his kind of being like the most online president we've ever had. I mean, our previous president, I would say, was incredibly offline to his detriment. But Trump is like, he loves
a culture war.
He loves culture war discourse stuff. And for a long time, online DEI has been, it's almost become a meme at this point of like anything that goes wrong, people on X, because it's definitely X when people are doing this. We have a thing on the podcast where it's Twitter if it's like fun, and it's X if
it's bad.
Yeah. So this is definitely an X thing.
Yeah.
But it was like when that like boat crashed into a bridge in Baltimore, people are like, the DEI mayor of Baltimore. I'm like, first of all, it's not DEI for the mayor of Baltimore to be Black. Like, number
it's a
one,
Black city with a Black majority, and he won the vote. Like, what the fuck?
But it's become this meme of like they'll blame DEI and everything. Even with the fucking fires, they were saying
a lesbian woman chief. And it's her fault that the LA Fire Department couldn't control massive fires 4 at a time.
Yeah, or like when fucking Trump got shot, there was like one lady Secret Service agent, and they're like, "What's she doing in there? DEI, she couldn't even protect him." Blah blah blah. And I'm like, well, he was fine, so he was protected.
Yeah,
so
I mean,
they got him down, they got him back up, they got him his photo.
He did his. He did that, and also so funny to see like a nepo baby who like hasn't had a real job in his life complain about diversity.
Merit. I know, exactly. When like he just worked for his father's company that didn't rent to Black people, and then used that to,
and all those things with Kushner and Trump's like buildings have so much intense discrimination against Black people that probably that's why they wanted to end discrimination acts. Whatever. So that's the DEI. That's the historical context. Now on to our Grasshole. Our Grasshole used to be a beloved internet personality named Tabitha Brown. Now, Tabitha Bonita Brown is an American actress, Emmy-winning host, social media personality, entrepreneur, and author. She creates online video content incorporating veganism, humor, and motivational speaking. She's like in her 40s, like almost 50. She's a really beautiful Black woman, has a very calming voice. And
I love that.
In late 2017, Brown was running out of disability insurance funds, which led to her becoming an Uber driver in October 2017. In order to make ends meet as a struggling part-time actress, her video review from December, she did Uber to help with her disability funds, right? And she also acted but couldn't get regular jobs. She would post videos.
I know that struggle.
Well,
I know that.
Don't we fucking all?
Yeah.
So she would make videos like she's Black, she's like nice, has a calming voice, and she would make like vegan recipe videos, right? So our video review from December 2017 of a Whole Foods Market vegan BLT sandwich went viral, after which the company hired her as a brand ambassador to travel the country. In early March 2020, she created a TikTok account in which she began sharing vegan recipes, cooking tips, family moments, and encouraging advice.
March 2020, you said?
Basically, like right before COVID hit, she started this like vegan thing where she would like post cool, like kind of Black-centered vegan recipes, would show her family and stuff. She amassed 2 million followers during the pandemic. On
Early adopter of TikTok.
Yeah.
That's why I'm always like, March 2020, you got a TikTok? You did it right.
She got 2
You fucking
million
did it.
followers in 5 weeks.
Yep.
And Brown had been broadcasting live cooking shows and product reviews on Facebook Live since early 2018. So she is somebody who literally was like, it's like the perfect story of like a great social media personality who like was struggling, kept doing it, blew up in the right way, and now she has a bunch of things.
Yeah.
And now she has over 5 million followers on TikTok, 4.2 million followers on Instagram. As and that was on March 2023. She probably has more. She has been described by HuffPost as America's mom, and her content has been characterized by critics as comforting and calming. She is the host of the Food Network's first plant-based cooking competition called It's Complicated.
Oh, we could workshop that.
Yeah,
we could workshop that a little bit.
And it's
complantated?
Girl, I don't know. We're part-time, whatever.
I'm just like, we could do a little bit. We could massage It's complantated a little bit.
She's the host of the Emmy-winning YouTube children's show called Tab Time. Brown has appeared in television shows such as The Shy, Good Morning America. In 2021, Brown was awarded the Outstanding Social Media Personality title at the National Association for Advancement of Colored People Image Awards. Her first book, Feeding the Soul, because it's my business. Finding Our Way to Joy, Love, and Freedom, that's the whole title, was published the same year. And she published her first cookbook, Cooking from the Spirit, Easy, Delicious, and Joyful Plant-Based Inspirations in the Next. In 2023, she won the Children's and Family Emmy Award for Outstanding Host. This is from her website. Taking various business ventures by storm, she is the co-founder and CEO of her own healthy hair care line, Donna's Recipe, and has launched several multi-category product lines with major retailer Target, and never fails to bring sunshine to everyone's kitchen with her signature McCormick seasoning blends and mixes, because that's her business. That's like her like little tagline. Like that's my business.
Okay.
Okay, right?
I like that. That's my business.
So that's Tabitha and DEI. Okay. Now where do they hit me?
I know. I'm like, what's gonna happen?
Let's talk about Target. The retailer said that Friday that changes to belonging at the bullseye strategy would include ending a program it established to help Black employees build meaningful careers, improve the experience of Black shoppers, and to promote Black-owned businesses following Floyd's death in Minneapolis, where Target has its headquarters. So basically, after George Floyd, in 2024, after George Floyd was murdered by police, Target was one of the businesses that said they're going to do all this shit to make life easier for its Black customers, Black employees, and Black business owners. They're ending that now because of this Trump DEI rollback. Target, which operates nearly 2,000 stores nationwide and employs more than 400,000 people, said it would conclude the diversity, equity, and inclusion or DEI goals it previously set in 3-year cycles. The goals included hiring and promoting more women and members of racial minority groups, recruiting more diverse suppliers, including businesses owned by people of color, women, LGBTQ plus people, veterans, and people with disabilities. Target will also no longer participate in surveys designed to gauge the effectiveness of its actions, including a national index compiled by the Human Rights Campaign, a national LGBTQ rights organization. Target said it would further evaluate corporate partnerships to ensure they're connected directly to business objectives, but declined to share details.
It's wild to me because, I do remember Target being kind of in the forefront of like, we're gonna, partner with Black business owners, and like there was all different like new hair care products that they brought in and all this stuff. And so, number one, to go so hard in that direction and then pull back is its own fucked up thing. But it's also just interesting to me to even be public about the fact that you're getting rid of it. Like, and not that they should do this or that it's morally better to do this, but it feels like something they could just kind of privately pulled back on.
You should be more embarrassed about it.
Yeah. To me, I'm like,
speaking of people going public.
Yeah.
Let's hear what, so this ties perfectly into why Tabitha's Grasshole.
Okay.
So a lot of Black people on the internet are like, well, fuck Target. Like this shit hasn't even sunk in. And Trump hasn't, even though Trump has done all the federal stuff, he hasn't really said, I'm going to find businesses that do DEI. He hasn't said any of that.
Yeah, it's like day one, they came out and they're like, and we're going to do it too. It's like, whoa.
And also for a reminder, Target, like, was one of the, and especially in Minneapolis, and especially the Minneapolis Target that got looted or whatever, had a riot in it and then burnt down, was one of the locations that used facial recognition as a way to profile its customers for shoplifting and all this shit. They do really fucked up shit with like facial recognition and AI, which facial recognition on point blank is racist because whatever a lot of tech is, blah, blah, blah.
Put a pin in that. Put a pin in racist facial recognition discourse.
But so that's why a lot of the Black community, like their first act when like George Floyd was murdered was to fuck with that Target because that one was anyway. So they did that as a reaction and then they immediately came out and a lot of Black people are like, well, we're going to boycott Target, you know, which is their right to. And Tabitha posted a 9-minute long video and we're going to watch just a short segment of it and then we're going to react to, you know, and think.
Okay.
So that, it's the Twitter link. Or X link, I'm sorry.
You guys are journalists.
I know.
You guys really are.
We truly
you really
like,
are
backwards into being like, oh, we actually have to do a lot of research for this podcast.
But good. Whatever.
No,
yeah,
so
it's
good.
And like, sorry.
And as someone who like, I'm like, the way you guys explain things is so gorgeous.
Oh, I'm so glad. I'm
no,
so
it
glad.
is so gorgeous. Even if you know something, it's like so nice to refresh, and then even if you don't, it's like such a kind way to do it.
I'm leaving all
what
this
a great
in.
way to get people in.
Great.
Oh,
yeah. And like, it's good, you know, that
It
we have
is.
control over what we talk about and whatever. So let's play this.
I am in business in multiple ways, with Target, with Walmart, and Amazon, right? I sell Donna's Recipe, my hair care products, right, are on Amazon. They're also in Target. And of course, I have a huge partnership with Target. I sell my seasonings at Walmart. I do business all over, just like many other people. And what I can tell you is, if we all decide to boycott and be like, no, we're not spending no money at these organizations. Listen, I get it. And if that's how you feel, honey, I 1000% get it. But so many of us will be affected and our sales will drop. Our business will be hurt. And if any of you know business, it doesn't just happen overnight where you can just go take all your stuff and pull it off the shelves. There's a process. And then you got to, like, where you going to put it? You got to have a place to store it. That's money, right? You got to have another place to sell it, which is almost impossible sometimes. And even if you sell online, it's a process when it comes to business. And everyone does not have the funds or the means or the availability, the space to house their own products, right? But the thing that concerns me the most, and I want you to hear me and hear me well, if we all decide to stop supporting said businesses and say, you know, I can't buy nothing from there, even the businesses who were affected by the DEI ban, right? What that does is you take all our sales and they dwindle down. And then those companies get to say, oh, your products are not performing. And they can remove them from the shelves and then put their preferred businesses on the shelves. And then what happens to all the businesses who've worked so hard to get where they are? Then what happens, right? Now, I know that something that could solve it is ownership of these big corporations, right? It's a long way to go there. There are amazing companies like the Village Market in Atlanta, right, who support small businesses, and you can go in there and there's some amazing things that you can buy. But it's one store and it's very small. We're talking about mass market. You can't build that overnight. Do we?
So what do you guys think of Tabitha's plea to not boycott?
Here, I'm like actually genuinely conflicted because I don't think that posting this video in this exact moment was like a smart move on her part. But I also don't think that what she's saying is necessarily wrong.
Yeah, you can see that it's coming from a place of fear, which,
Yeah.
like, of course, like, I mean, when you find out the company you're working for is not the company you thought it was, which I think we all have had that experience
I
where,
think we all have.
you know what I mean? Like,
We've all had.
you go into a business situation thinking it's going to be one way and thinking people are going to act the way that you act and would do the things that you do, and then something will happen. It's like when you date someone and you go, oh no, like, I know this thing now, this thing that I can't align with.
Yeah.
And now I have to either I stay in this relationship knowing it's going to end, which a lot of people do, or even I'm just not going to look, or you do the hard thing, which is like, this sucks. Like, it will suck for her. But also, like, do you stay somewhere where you don't believe in what they're doing? Will you have to store it? I'm sure that will be difficult. But like, because I think then, I mean, it's like it's going to be hard for you, but do you want to be a company that believes where they are and how they're selling and what they're doing to their employees?
She's getting roasted online.
I'm sure.
Because, like,
she's thinking about herself completely.
She's thinking about herself. She's thinking about, and the thing is, like you said, it's the Target thing where it's like, well, we're rolling back DEI right now. And it's like, well, you never believed it in the first place.
Yeah.
And second of all, girl, if you would have kept quiet, or if you would have said, we're going to work hard to start slowly remove and not do shit, but be like, listen, I'm not going to renew my contract with Target, or I'm not going to renew this and that. Like,
yeah, that's why it's like, it's kind of we always say that like sometimes our Grasshole, it's like a love and go touch grass, and sometimes it's like not as much.
Yeah.
And this one, it's more of a love and go touch grass for me because I'm like, I get that you're freaking out. I get that this does affect your business. There's a lot going on, but this was definitely a moment to just like pull back and privately figure out your business strategy and kind of work through some of the things. I mean, you said this video is originally 9 minutes long. Clearly she's working through a lot of thoughts. It's like,
but the whole 9 minutes, because people are like, well, did you watch the whole thing? And the whole 9 minutes is this. It's not like she's gonna be like,
no,
whatever, you know?
Yeah, no, I just mean like, clearly she's working
you shouldn't
through.
leave because you could affect me.
Yeah, and people
which you're
are
like,
pissed.
hello?
Yeah.
Right, it is. That is, like, that is very tone deaf and upsetting.
And also, too, like, I feel like there is grace that people aren't even, when you say something like that, you're assuming that the people who are making these boycotting decisions are idiots, or that people don't understand business or whatever.
Yeah.
If she made a statement that was, and I'm like, okay, of course, there's always grace. No one's going to behave perfectly. But if she's like, I'm going to do the work, I mean, this is why Karl Marx says we have to seize the means of production. But the more of your business that is out of your hands, that you don't have control of, the more susceptible you are, which was the kind of core of anyway. But the whole thing is like, if she's like, look, we're going to look in a solution that is cost effective for us to, like, maybe I'm not going to do seasonings and hair products. Maybe we're just going to do seasonings, or maybe I'm just going to do hair. Like, I don't think
And
anybody
sell on my website or wherever, like where she has control of whatever's going on.
Yeah, because she also does say that she has products in a lot of different places. So it is kind of like, again, for me, it's like, I get the initial freak out and being like, oh my gosh, probably getting this Target collab was a huge moment for her.
And we've seen her rise. Exactly.
Yeah,
she
like-
was a driver on Uber and now she's like
But
winning Emmys.
Yeah.
But again, it's almost even like Target making the announcement. I'm like, why is everyone coming out and saying things publicly? Like, take a moment, go to your team, have a team meeting and be like, what are our options for divesting from Target? How quickly can we do it? What would it mean for us to do it? Like, come up with a plan privately, because I mean, when people were saying, oh, we're going to boycott Target, were people coming to her and like, was she top of mind to people?
I feel like she had like a pretty, but like she said, she has stuff with Walmart, Amazon, whatever. And I just feel like, yeah. And I'm also like, and babe, people are pissed. Like Trump won because people are pissed about the economic and like inequity that we're experiencing in this country.
Yeah.
And maybe that's probably a lot of the things behind DEI too, is that a lot of people feel like, well, Black people get to class versus race bullshit. That's like a little more complicated. But I'm like, babe,
put a pin in class versus race.
I'm like, babe, you're fucking like doing this video from your beautiful home.
Yeah.
After you
huge ring
the
also,
ring is
guys.
huge.
An enormous fucking
a
ring.
huge ring.
Yeah.
Beautiful skin. Like,
I think that's the thing. We see people a lot right now, especially choose money over
anything.
And that is the excuse they're telling people who don't even have that money. They're like, I'm doing this for this, which you're like, I have no sympathy. I mean, then you get to decide again who you're going to follow and who you're going to support, because if you want to follow somebody who is like, I will choose money over what I believe in or what I think is right,
that's your right.
That's your right. But if you are somebody who's like, I'm not going to spend my money that way or support someone like that, it's a great opportunity to learn about the people who are in charge of products you might like.
One of my favorite tweets in response to this was like, guys, the Montgomery bus boycott was 54 weeks. You guys can't go 3 days without being like, don't boycott Target.
Yeah.
Well, that's also my other thing. Because again, I do like, I did feel a genuine sympathy for someone who's like, fuck, this thing that has nothing to do with me is
it's going to affect me.
And it's going to affect me. Again, it's a go touch grass moment. It's like, you do not need to post a video, but also, yeah, like for boycotts and political action to be effective, it does have to affect people's lives. And it's not just going to be the company that it's targeted at. Pun. Anyway.
Yeah.
But
bullseye.
We got Target. But I do think that that's like something that a lot of people forget these days, is like anytime that someone tries to propose a political action, it's like, well, that'll cause traffic. That'll do this, that'll do that. And it's like, well, you're you have to inconvenience certain people and make things unavailable and make profits go down. And like, unfortunately, Target is a big box store. So that means everyone who sells at Target is going to be affected.
Yep.
And do we hate everyone who sells at Target? No, but like, political action does require mass inconveniencing of people, even if not all of those people are directly responsible for the thing you are mad about.
I also feel like, just to like kind of wrap this up, is also like, babe, Target, did you read the Target statement? Because Target's probably going to end its partnership with you.
Sure.
You fucking only got a partnership because they got called to action about like being racist. They're like, well, look at all these Black owned companies that it's like,
yeah, I mean, Target literally ran out the gate to be like, and Mr. Trump, we're gonna also not work. And it's like, they didn't even have to do that. So like, yeah, you as a business owner, that's a moment to go touch grass, not be online, take the temperature, and start making your plan for divesting yourself from Target, because Target might be divesting from you. They just said.
They literally said in their statement, they are going to divest from you. And what you're saying is, don't boycott because they're going to divest from me. Babe.
I know. And it's like, I get it. I get feeling bad. And like, I don't think that she's like a bad person, but it is just like, don't ever try to be the first one to post. Like, that's my thing, is you don't ever want to be the first one to post.
And literally, again, nobody hates her for having a thing with Target because she didn't know. But also, I'm just like, why don't you just let it ride? Like, like let it slowly get out. You know, maybe you don't. I don't know. So anyway, that's our Grasshole.
Wow.
For the crime of saying people should not boycott because it'll cost her money. We're going to lovingly tell Tabitha Brown,
Go touch grass. Wow.
Wow, what an episode.
What an episode. We really got deep into like influencer theory, I would say here.
Yeah.
And we, you know, sometimes that's what happens. Sometimes we go deep. Sometimes we have to put a pin in class versus race discourse because we can't.
Sometimes we have to say, guess what? Your son, he's supposed to be younger.
Right.
Your son is supposed to be younger than you guys. If there's one takeaway from this episode, it's that. And if there's another, it's where you can follow our wonderful guest, Jessie Jolles, online. Jessie, tell everybody where they can see all your stuff, see your fun videos, and see your color stories and your outfits and all the things.
Yeah, you can follow me on TikTok or Instagram at Jessie Jolles, JESSIE JOLLES. And I have 2 podcasts, Happily Ever Heard of It, and Middle Children.
With former guest Chris Burns, aka Fat Carrie Bradshaw.
Yeah,
so,
friend of the pod.
Big friend of the pod. Big friend of the pod.
Yeah.
Guys, you can follow the pod at Go Touch Grass Pod on everything, including YouTube. And you can follow me at Alise Navidad on TikTok and Pandalise on Instagram.
You can follow me at Milly_Tamarez on Instagram and TikTok. And Milly Tamarez everywhere else, including Blue Sky. I know that I have to pick the Etsy Witch. I have to talk to Alise about the Etsy Witch people. I have to pay an Etsy Witch to do a success spell on me.
Yeah, we've promised the listeners for a while that we're going to do this, and it's just
cool.
It takes time.
It takes time
To find the right witch.
Oh,
and
to
the
find
right...
3 witches.
For success?
For success. You can do for love. You can get an Etsy Witch to do a spell on anything. I was like, let's do success for the pod.
For sure.
Yeah, of course.
You know, love will come.
And you know what? And we'll see you all on Tart 50. On Tripping with Tart 50. And until next time, go touch grass.
That was a HeadGum podcast.